Hello and welcome to this demonstration of an excellent application called Contactable. Instead of talking too much about it, I'm going to show you on two phones. As you'll see on the left hand side of your screen, I have an iPhone. You'll see it's Joel's phone, and on the right hand side I have an iPhone. It's Jack's phone. This application doesn't only work on iOS, but I have two iPhones available to me. Essentially, with Contactable, you are in complete control of your contact information. You control the information that you want to share and who you wish to share it with, and you can change it whenever you want from one central location, simply, securely, and in real time. You will note at the bottom of the screen, when you open up Contactable, you'll see you have a C tag. This is your Contactable tag, and it's your unique identifier for life. You'll use it when you're logging on to Contactable, and you'll see later that you can use it when you connect to other subscribers of Contactable. Contactable and all of its current features is free to individuals, and if you choose the free option, you'll note that your C tag appears similar to mine below, but it is possible for a few bucks to reserve your own personalized C tag, and these are hot commodities. So after making this video, I'm going to reserve my name. To start with, you'd have to go to the Profiles tab. So at the bottom of your screen, we'll click on Profiles, and you'll notice that you've got an option to configure your personal and your business profile if necessary. You only do this once when you sign into the app, and then you can leave or exist going forward. So let's take a look at my personal profile. You'll note that all of my contactable information is inside this particular profile. So I'll put a picture that I wish to share with those people that I'm going to share my personal information with, my name and surname, my contact details, mobile, home phone number, email address, and potentially, of course, street information. And when I'm done, I'll click on Update. If I go back to Profiles, you'll notice that I can also configure my business profile. In this case, I've made it my default profile, so it's the profile that I'll share by default if I don't define which profile to share. And here, of course, you'll see that I have different information: my company name, obviously my name and surname, my job title, contact information like telephone numbers, fax numbers, email address, website, and physical address information as well. And like I say, you'll only create these profiles once off, and then you'll use them going forward. Once this is done, the next step in Contactable will actually be to connect with other subscribers of Contactable. So in this case, of course, we'll go to the Connect tab. You've got various options available to you, so you can connect to somebody. If you know their C tag, you can actually click on the C tag option, and you could type their C tag in. You'll notice there's a help function that comes up and gives you some information about what each feature does. So right now, of course, if I'm Jack and I want to connect to Jill, I would type Jill's C tag in, and if you look at the phone on the left hand side, Jill's phone, Jill's C tag is Jill7917. So if I know your C tag, or if you tell me your C tag, I can connect to you using that information. Let's not do that now. Let's go through some other options. You've got an option for email or SMS, and of course, as you can imagine, if I know your mobile number, I could type your mobile number in here. If I don't know your mobile number out of my head, I could of course click on the invite from address book option, and I could type my buddy's name in and search through my phone's address book. There's also an option for QR code, so I could create a QR code for whichever profile, my business profile in this case, or my personal profile, for example, and then the other person could scan that on their phone. So that's assuming that you're sitting next to each other. This is going to be useful, of course, when you are in a restaurant, for example. They may have the QR code with their contactable information in the form of a cue card at their counter or on the window of the establishment. The feature I want to show you now, which is quite exciting of course, is the Near Me feature. So if I click on Near Me here, what you'll notice is that it gives me a list of all contactable subscribers who are visible and who are in my vicinity. If I scroll through the list here, you'll notice of course that I see Jill Pale is near me. If I wish to connect to Jill, I just select Jill. My next option of course is to say I'd like to invite Jill, and what information do I wish to share with Jill. In this case I can choose to share my business profile information, or of course, as you saw earlier, my personal profile information. So let's keep it at business. I'd like to share my business profile, so it's like my business card. When I click on invite here, I get a message saying that I've successfully sent an invite to, in this case, Jill. And Jill receives a message saying that Jack, that's myself, would like to clink contact information. Now the term clink stands for connect and link, and effectively it's a clever term that the Contactable folks have come up with. And when you clink with somebody, essentially, like in this case, Jack is clinked with Jill, Jill will receive Jack's contact information in Contactable, and this information will be linked into Jill's phone book. So let's follow on Jill's phone now on the left hand side. So Jill will say OK. If she goes to the invite section, you'll see that there's an incoming message saying that Jack would like to clink. In this case you'll click on that option and you'll see of course that Jack Hill would like to clink with me, and I've got a couple of options here. In this case, accept and share is one of my options. Accept means I will accept Jack's business card information into my phone book, and I will share my contactable information with Jack. And in this case you'll notice above there that I will be sharing my business profile. Again, of course, I could change it to my personal profile if I so wish. Below you'll notice that of course there's also an option to accept and don't share, meaning that I will accept Jack's information into the phone but not share my information back with Jack. Decline means not now, so I will ignore your request and nothing will have happened, but Jack is able to clink with me later. And if Jack is harassing me and I don't want to receive any more clink messages from Jack, I could of course go and choose the block option. In this case I'm going to accept and share. In this case of course it's now saying, would you like to link Jack's contact information with an existing address book contact? If I already had Jack's information inside my phone book, I would do this. Or I could create as a new address book contact. I could also say not now, maybe later, or remove the link. In this case I'm going to say I'd like to link to an existing address book contact. Now assuming that we haven't met, I'm not actually going to have Jack in my phone book right now, and I want to prove that to you. So let me go and look inside this phone book now for a Jack, and you'll notice that I don't have a Jack. I've got a Jackie, but I don't have a Jack in my phone book. So I couldn't link it to an existing address book entry. So I'm going to cancel that. And I'm going to say let's create it as a new address book entry. What this is now going to do, of course, is it's actually going to take the contact information that I created in my business card, which I sent to Jill, and of course add it to Jill's phone book. You'll notice of course now we're on the contacts tab, and you'll notice that I now have a contact called Jack Hill in Contactable, and there's a tick meaning that I've actually connected and linked with you. Let's go and take a quick look inside this particular phone's actual phone book now. See that I have a Jack now, and you'll notice that I now have a Jack Hill in my phone book with all the information that you saw in my business profile. Obviously, because I accepted and shared on Jill's phone, that message has now been sent back to Jack to say Jill would like to share her contact information with you. So on the right hand phone, on Jack's phone now, if I go to my invites, you'll notice, just like before, there's an incoming invite from Jill, and in this case my option of course is really to accept or decline. And the reason for that is because I've already sent my information, I've shared my contact information with Jill, so when she's shared hers back, I just have to accept it. In this case I'm going to accept it. Let's try and link it to an existing address book entry and see if I have a Jill. My apologies. And you'll notice that I don't have a Jill. Now why this is such a powerful feature is because it eliminates the possibility of duplication. So it doesn't automatically just create a duplicate entry, you can link to an existing entry in your phone book. Because I don't have an existing entry in my phone book, I'd create it as a new address book entry in my phone book. And just like we saw on Jill's phone earlier, of course, now on Jack's phone I'm going to actually have Jill's contact information stored in my phone. And here you see that Jill has a tick next to her name in contacts because we've clicked. Let's go and take a look at that in this particular phone's phone book as well. Apologies. You'll notice I now have a Jill with all of her contact information in my phone book. What that means now is that I could actually phone Jill at any time using this contact information, but I don't have to go into Contactable as an application in order to do so. It actually updates my phone's address book directly. Let's go back to Contactable. Now what's so powerful about Contactable here is that, let's say for example as Jack I change companies, so my email address changes or my telephone number changes for example, and the information that Jill now has in her phone's address book would be inaccurate. So for example, let me go into Jack's business profile. You'll note that if you look at the picture, I'm sure you agree with me that that's not necessarily a picture that you would associate with your business profile. So let's change that right away. So if I click on the picture and go into my phone's camera roll, I can select a picture, maybe something that's a bit more corporate, like this guy for example, to update my profile. And let's say for example that my mobile number has changed. Please note of course that it was 5555 ending in 5555. So let's go and change that to, let's say, 1111. Now before we actually do the update, what I want to prove to you here on Jill's phone is that if I go into the contact for Jack, you'll notice of course that the picture and the telephone number is still 5555. In that case, I've now changed the picture of course, and I've changed the mobile number to 1111. When I click update on Jack's phone now, you'll notice of course it says that I will now be updating a total of one contact because I only have one, Jill in this case. Would I like to proceed? And I say proceed. I get congratulated. The guys at Contactable are very friendly of course. Job done. On Jill's side now, she receives a message saying that Jack has updated his profile. I don't know what Jack's done, but I know that he's obviously changed something in his contactable information. If I go into this phone book again, you'll note that automatically inside the phone's phone book, the picture's been updated, the mobile number's changed. So effectively what this has done for Jack is it's given him a platform where he's in control of all of his contact information. He can define what information he wishes to share. He can define who he wishes to share that information with, and he can update it at any time from one central location, and it updates automatically in all of his contacts phone books, which I'm sure you agree, if you've ever had a cell phone number change or an email change or an address change for example, can be a very powerful tool that's available. And that's the essence of what Contactable is going to do for individuals. Extremely powerful. There's no reason in the world not to subscribe to Contactable. Like I said, it's 100% free. Let's look at another feature, for example. Let's say that Jack, in this case, would like contact information for an organization that subscribes to Contactable. So let's say, for example, Jack is hungry. He looks inside his phone book and he's looking for Nando's. And you'll note that in this case, Jack doesn't have Nando's telephone number in his directory. So what Jack could do in this case, inside Contactable, is he could go and say he'd like to connect. He'd like to connect to a Contactable subscriber who's near him. In this case, if we scroll through, you'll note, for example, that we have Nando's that's available. Nando's is nearby, and you'll notice that the handle for Nando's is *Nando's. So corporate handles always start with an asterisk or a star. Now we could obviously clink from here with Nando's, but we've already done one using the nearby feature. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go and say, let's clink with Nando's using the C-tag option. So I've clicked on C-tag, and now I've of course got to type the C-tag that I'd like to share. In this case it would be *Nando's. You'll note as soon as you type asterisk, I won't be sharing any profile because this is one-way sharing. As Jack, I don't necessarily want to share my contact information with Nando's. I want Nando's contact information so that I can call them. And I could invite Nando's. I get a message saying that I was successful in my invite. If I go and look at invites, you'll notice that Nando's would like to clink contact details. If I go into that particular request, you'll notice that Nando's would like to clink with me, and of course I can accept or decline. In this case I'm hungry, so I'm going to accept. We saw that I didn't have Nando's in my address book, so I'm going to link to an existing address in my address book. And you'll note, of course, that it's not available. So I'm not going to get any kind of duplication here. I'll just create as a new address book entry. Right away, if I go into my address book and look for Nando's, suddenly I've got the number, and of course could contact Nando's directly. So extremely powerful for individuals and for organizations like Nando's who've been smart enough to get on board. So once again, as you've seen with Contactable, you are finally in full control of your contact information. You control what information you would like to share, who you'd like to share it with, and you're able to change it whenever you want from one central location and update their address books directly, simply, securely, and in real time. I hope to see you on Contactable, and happy clinking.